Hello, in this video I will be going to discuss a number theory problem that came in BMAT BStat 2017. So the problem says is, let P1, P2, P3 be prime. So there are three primes, P1, P2, P3, where P2 is not equals to P3. And also we have that 4 plus P1 times P2 is a perfect square, as well as 4 plus P1 times P3 is also a perfect square. Now we have to find all the possible values of those three primes P1, P2 and P3. So obviously we'll be starting with by taking 4 plus P1 P2 as a perfect square and 4 plus P1 times P3 as a perfect square. So that's the only thing given, and we have to start with it. So let's start with it. So let 4 plus P1 times P2, let that be equals to some m square, and 4 plus P1 P3 be some n square, where m and n belongs to the set of integers. Now what can we do is, we can take 4 on the right hand side, because 4 is a square number, and m square, we also have a square number on the right hand side, so it will be of the form some a square minus b square, where we can factorize and we can get some result from there. So that's the next thing which comes in our mind. So P1 times P2 is m square minus 4, and which is obviously equals to m minus 2 times m plus 2. P1 times P3 is again similarly n square minus 4, which is equals to n minus 2 times n plus 2. So we see that on our left hand side we have the product of two primes, and on the right hand side we also have the product of two numbers. Okay, now we should consider all the different cases that are possible. So one might say that the two numbers on my right, on the in the RHS, so one of them is 1 and the other is a composite number having two primes. Okay, so if one of them has to be 1, then m minus 2 is 1, and that gives us m is equals to 3, and that tells us that m plus 2 is 5, and then we will be having only one prime on our right hand side, but we have a product of two primes on the left hand side, so that's not possible. And similar argument goes for the second case also, the P1 P3 case also. So now what can happen is, okay, now if one of the number was composite, it can't have more than two primes, because then we will have three more than or equals to three primes on the left hand side, on the right hand side, and only two primes on the left hand side. So the only cases that are possible is both of them are primes. Both of them are primes. Okay. So m minus 2 is a prime, m plus 2 is a prime, as well as n minus 2 is a prime, and n plus 2 is a prime. Okay, so let's consider the cases now. So P1 is equals to m minus 2. Okay, so P1 times P2 is m minus 2 times m plus 2. So m minus 2 is a prime, m plus 2 is a prime. And so first of all, I'm taking that let P1 be m minus 2. Okay, and then naturally we get that P2 is m plus 2. Okay, now from the second equation, that is P1 P3, now there's one thing to look, because P1, if I choose, so P1 is also there in the second equation. So if I choose my P1 to be n minus 2, so if I choose my P1 to be n minus 2, then we have a problem. That is, then it implies, so we have P1 equals to m minus 2, as well as we have P1 equals to n minus 2. So this implies that m is equals to n, and this implies that P2 is n plus 2. And from the second equation P3, so if P1 is n minus 2, so obviously P3 is n plus 2, and P3 is also n plus 2. But we have been given that P2 is not equals to P3. So there we get a contradiction. So this is not possible. This is not possible. So then we are left with only one choice, that is P1 is equals to n plus 2, and thus leaving only one choice for P3, that is P3 is equals to n minus 2. Okay, now we have P1 is equals to m minus 2 and P1 is equals to n minus 2. Okay, so let's equate them. So m minus 2 is equals to m minus 2 is equals to n plus 2, and this gives us n is equals to m minus 4, right? And so let's convert all the primes into m. I mean, let the variable be m. Okay, sorry, it's not a variable. Let the integer be m. So we get that. So already we had P1 is equals to m minus 2 and P2 is equals to m plus 2. P1, P2, and there we have P3 to be n minus 2. So n minus 2, and putting the value of n, m minus 4 minus 2. So this gives us m minus 6. Okay. Now let's arrange them in the number line. So suppose we have here m, and so we have here m minus 2, then we have m minus 4, and then m minus 6. and on that side we have m plus 2. Okay, so m plus 2 is p2, m minus 2 is p1, and p3 is m minus 6. Okay, so that's how they are arranged on the number line. And now let's look at the gaps. So p3, and between p3 and p1 it's a gap of 4, and between p1 and p2 they also have a gap of 4, and obviously p3 and p2 they have a gap of 8. So now we know that all primes greater than or equals to 5 is of the form 6k plus minus 1. All prime numbers are of the form 6k plus minus 1. So if p3, so if p3 is of the form 6k plus 1, where k belongs to the set of integers, so then think about p2. Then p2 is nothing but 6k plus 1 plus 8, which is equals to 6k plus 9. And since I can take a 3 common, so it's 3 times 2k plus 3. And so obviously this implies that this is not a prime. And so p3 cannot be a prime of the form 6k plus 1. Now what if the other choice left for p3 is, suppose it's of the form 6k minus 1, where k belongs to the set of integers, and then we look at p1, which is p3 plus 4, so 6k minus 1 plus 4, so that is nothing but 6k minus, plus 3, and again here you can take out 3 common, and it's 2k plus 1, and again which is not a prime. And so p3 cannot be of the form 6k minus 1. So as a whole, this case, suppose let this be case 1, and it can't happen because in every possible ways we are getting a contradiction, and so this is not valid. I mean, this is not giving us any solution, valid solution. So we have no solution for this case. Primes greater than or equals to 5. Okay, now let's look out for case 2. So here, so in case 1 we have taken p1 to be m minus 2. Now in this case we'll be taking p1 to be m plus 2. So p1 is m plus 2, and naturally p2 is m minus 2, and looking at the product of p1 and p3, and with the same argument as in case 1, since we have taken p1 to be m plus 2, so P1 cannot be n plus 2 from the second equation. So P1 has to be n minus 2. P1 has to be n minus 2. And naturally P3 is n plus 2. And again, let's bring them all in the form of m. Okay, so let's represent them in m with the integer m. So again, let's equalize m plus 2 and n minus 2, and from there we get n to be m plus 4. And now first we get P3 to be n plus 2. So now P3 will be m plus 4 plus 2, that is m plus 6. And now again let's arrange them in the number line. And so if m is here, then m plus 2, m plus 4, m plus 6. Okay, so m plus 6 is P3, this is P3, and P2 is m minus 2, P2 is m minus 2, and P1 is m plus 2. So here we have P1. And now if you look at the gaps again, so the gap between P2 and P1 is 4. The gap between P1 and P3 is also 4. And so again, by the similar argument that we had in case 1, so if P2 is of the form suppose 6k plus 1, then P3 is of the form 6k plus 9. So which is not a prime, and if P2 is of the form 6k minus 1, then P1 is of the form 6k plus 3, again which is not a prime. And so for case 2, we don't have any solution, so no solution for primes greater than equals to 5. So what is the conclusion now? So what can we conclude? So we had case 1, we had case 2, and there are no more cases possible. So now the only thing that we did not look for is the primes which are less than 5. Okay, so that's the only thing that we need to look for. So the primes that are less than 5 are 2 and 3. So now if the minimum prime, the minimum among P1, P2, P3, if the minimum prime be P2, then 2 plus 4 is 6, which is not a prime, because we saw that always the gap will be 4, okay, for the next prime, and thus 2 is not possible. Now what about 3? So if I take the minimum prime to be 3, then the next prime is 7, Okay, and I see it works. So the next prime is 7, and 7 is if I add 4 with 3, so I get 7, which is a prime. And again, if I add 4 with 7, then I get 11, which is again a prime. So here we can see some hope to get a solution. So now, look, if I take P1 to be 3, P2 to be 7, and P3 to be 11, then we have a problem. P1 times P2 plus 4 should be a perfect square. And so here we get that it's 3 times 7, that is 21, plus 4 is 25, which is a perfect square. But P1 times P3 plus 4, that is 33 plus 4, which is 37, is not a perfect square. Okay, so the next thing comes in our mind is, so is there no solution? Okay, but still we are left to look at some of the rearrangements of this solution. So let's rearrange. So instead of C, we have P1 in both the places, in both the equations. So if we put P1 to be 7 and P2 to be 3 and P3, so the only one left is 11. Okay, so now look, P1 times P2 is 21 plus 4, that is 25, which is a perfect square. P1 times P3, that is 77, plus 4 is 81, that is 9 square, which is also a perfect square, and this works. So this is a solution. Okay, now since this works, now if we interchange P3 and P2, then also it should work, right? So P1 is equals to same, and we are interchanging P2 and P3. So P2 is 11 and P3 is 3. And this also works. 77 plus 4 is 9 square and 25 is 5 square. And this works. So these are the two solutions that I have already found out. Okay, so with P1 being 7, these are the two possible cases, and we got a solution. We got two solutions from there. So now what if, okay, so we saw that P1 being 3 does not work. So the only possibility left is P1 being 11. So now if P1 is 11, then one of P2 or P3 has to be 2. Sorry, has to be 3. And then again 11 times 3 will be, so if P1 is 11, then either P2 or P3 will be 3. And then again we will have the P1 times P2 is 33 plus 4 is 37, which is not a perfect square. And so P1 being 11 doesn't work. So the only solutions are P1 is 7, P2 is 3, P3 is 11, P1 is 7, P2 is 11, and P3 is 3.